Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
And welcome to this, the March 13th, 2019 Healing Sound Show with me, your host, Jonathan Goldman, and my co-host, my beloved wife, Andy Goldman, and we have a fabulous guest today.
We do, Jonathan. First of all, I am delighted to be co-hosting our guest today, Mandara Cromwell, who I totally love, and we have known about her work for many years, and I'd love to tell our audience a little bit about Mandara.
All right.
Mandara Cromwell, Doctorate of Cymatic Medicine Technologies, is president of Cyma Technologies. She's an American woman entrepreneur and has inventions and the AMI, Acoustic Meridian Intelligence Cymotherapy devices. Her AMI 750 was nominated for the Thomas Edison Award for Innovation in the fields of science and medicine. Mandara coined the term Cyma therapy, which refers to wave therapy, which had previously been referred to as cymatic therapy by Dr. Manners and other British and German researchers. As a way of forwarding the field of vibrational medicine, specifically sound therapy, Ms. Cromwell founded ISTA, the International Sound Therapy Association. And since 2006, the organization has been producing conferences to bring new voices together in the field of sound science. In 2017, Mandara produced the Atlanta Conference Cymatics, the Art and Science of Making Sound Visible, which featured never-before-seen sound-made visible images of the healing frequencies found in her own sound therapy devices. She is the co-producer of 2 short films created at the University of Florida utilizing cymatic images. In 2019, Mandara released her first book, Sunflower, The Journey to Mary, Science and Spirit. And it is our great joy to welcome you, Mandara Cromwell, to the Healing Sounds radio show today.
Welcome, Mandara.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan and Andy. I'm so excited to be sharing this time and space with you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it is just great to have you. As sort of a revelation to our audience that don't know, but we've known Mandara for quite a while, and we actually have, pardon me, I'm hearing another voice on the line. Sounds like me echoing, which is kind of scary, so if there's any repeat sound systems, please, my brain can't deal with it. But anyway, we've known Mandara and her work, which is actually, well, we're going to talk about this because we want to find out first and foremost, Mandara, how did you get where you were? We always ask people who, the first question we ask is like, okay, tell us about yourself. How did you get to this level of working with sound? Was it something that you were, from an early childhood thing? Was it a gradual thing, or was it like being struck by a lightning by God or something like that? What happened to you Tell us about your background, where you came from, and how you got to be who you are.
With great pleasure. Yes, I started my sound journey as a child, and I grew up in the Catholic Church. Latin masses were said back then, and had lots of Gregorian chant. In the particular church that I grew up in, it was built on the Gothic style architecture. So these would become my first experiences of the principles of resonance and entrainment, combined with the paintings of the angelic realms on the ceiling and the statues and stained glass windows depicting the saints and those with spiritual attainment marked by their halos. And when the majestic pipe organ would strike up their first keys, all of these visual and resonant experiences came to a dynamic dance. And I would see the halos vibrate. And
wow.
Later I would find out that those are my first cymatic images.
Oh, wow.
And the gilded buttresses with the angels, painted on the ceiling would come to life. And it was that organ, the amazing organ, keeping pace with a very melodic Gregorian chant. And even through the ritual of the Latin Mass, all of this kind of created this beat that resonated within. And so here I was experiencing my own body, songs of the cells within, as it vibrated within that huge resonant cavity of the Gothic style architecture. And I would feel like I could almost take flight because there was such an upliftment with all of that, sacred geometry and sound, the acoustics built on, the golden mean were just all in perfect play. And that became my first cymatic universe that I reveled in. And I just loved it when the nuns would come to our classroom and tell us that somebody had died, because that meant the children could go into the forbidden area of the choir loft and we could sing the Latin Requiem. So not only were we singing, so again, this resonant cavity is keeping time in this divine dance, also we were up right close to those buttresses, and you just felt like you could take flight. It was just such an amazing experience, and I would love it when there was a special guest invited to actually sing a solo. My favorite was Ave Maria, and there was a special person who would be invited to sing that, and it's just, oh my God, she had the voice of an angel and really transported me to higher realms of experience. And then when I was in college, I was really fascinated with art and architecture and studied art history and got into philosophy and studied Eastern philosophy. After college, I went to India and studied yoga, meditation, Sanskrit chant, and there I found another experience very similar to what I had experienced in the Catholic Church. I found these Hindu temples built on an architecture called Vastu Shastra, which was written about in the Vedic texts, which are the oldest scriptural texts that we know of today. And when I would go in these temples and the priests were singing the Sanskrit prayers, I could feel this sonic realignment, the buzzing within and the buzzing without. Again, here I am, a resonant cavity as my hidden structure, and within this geometrically designed and what we found out today through sacred mathematics, we're really realigning the cells into a state of balance. And then I'll fast forward quickly into my time in the early 2001 when I became aware of Dr. Hans Jenny and his work with cymatics, and then Dr. Peter Guy Manners, the British osteopath, who I then launched into a whole nother chapter of my life. So that's the basics of how I got started. How's that for the bullet points?
Great, and it sounds like that your frequency is so aligned with sound, Mandara, and those experiences are just, I vibrating within me right now.
Beautiful.
Well,
So,
I have to say that, when I got to, you mentioned that I have the book. The book goes into those experiences more, but I'm going to fast forward to 2001. The first time I ever saw Dr. Peter Guy Manners on film was Jonathan's interview. And so I know that was the first time I met Jonathan on film, too. And so early 2001 was a very momentous occasion for, coming into the physical realm of your great work, Jonathan. And you have some amazing experiences with Dr. Manners as well.
Well, yes, I do, but, I would like to ask you if you would, just for our audience, in case they don't know the term, could you define, first of all, cymatics? And then I'm going to ask you, what is the difference between cymatics and Cyma therapy?
Good question. I have made it my mission to distinguish the difference of those two sciences. Cymatics is a term that was coined by Dr. Hans Jenny. And Dr. Jenny was a Swiss medical doctor and natural scientist. And he is the first person that we that we know about that used modern technology to create sound made visible experiments, because we can't see sound. So how do we, become aware of the impact of sound in our environment? And I mentioned that I went to India and was immersed in that culture for a while. If we look at those temple structures, we see carved in stone things that we've come to know today as the Sri Yantra. And these are sounds made visible, carved in stone, frozen sound. Well, with Dr. Jenny, he was able to take today's technology and by taking a plate and placing a transducer underneath it and putting sand or salt particles or other oils and mediums, he would generate the sound from underneath the plate, and the sound waves would create geometric structures on top of that plate. And so we saw it come to life. That footage is absolutely amazing, because when he combined more than one frequency, particularly when you watch the metal filings, you can see the sound actually affecting the filings in a 3D experience, sound bringing matter to life. And as a tribute to Dr. Jenny, Dr. Manners, who was around the same time forging his path into healing sounds, he gave a nod to Dr. Jenny and called his therapy cymatic therapy. So cymatics is the science of making sound visible. Cymatic therapy is taking sounds that have a healing effect and applying it to the physical body. And in 2002, to further distinguish between the two, I coined the term Cyma therapy. And today I give presentations on cymatics and Cyma therapy, showing how I use cymatics, the science of making sound visible, particularly the healing sounds produced by the devices that I've spearheaded or invented myself, how they look differently in that particular form of the science.
Well, Mandara, for me, it's so interesting because sound is so very powerful, and to be able for people to be able to actually see the cymatics forms and the visualization really validates how powerful the Cyma therapy can be for people. And I was just amazed at your ability to invent these devices that could actually bring sound into our bodies, really, through Cyma therapy.
Indeed.
It's been really an amazing path, and I feel very blessed to be chosen. Or maybe I agreed to it in another realm first, right?
Do you not have a little story about the fact that you somehow either awakened from a dream or was in meditation and sort of was told to go over to England or something like that? Did you have something like that occur for you?
Actually, early in 2001, I did have an amazing dream about sound. And shortly after that, I received a phone call from someone who, back in those days, we had an 800 directory. I don't know if you remember. We had the yellow pages and we had the white pages. We had the 800 directory. And someone was looking for me and found my number and began talking to me about sound and introduced me to the work of Dr. Hans Jenny, and then started telling me about Dr. Manners. And as the caller was telling me about Dr. Manners, that he had this box, this technology that could produce this very targeted sound to affect human physiology, I was transported into the future where I kind of had this split computer screen where one of the screens I was listening to the caller and envisioning everything he was saying, and then I was on the other screen, I was transported into the future where we would, as a society, have sound available to us. So we could go to if we were at the airport, we could go into a little sound booth and get tuned up, or if we were at the shopping mall, we could pop into kind of like a tanning bed and get tuned up. So yes, I did have a very profound experience. And at the end of that phone call, I asked the caller, "How can I help you?" And he said, "I don't know. All I know is that Dr. Manners is elderly. He's going to pass, and nobody's going to know his information." And so I said, "Okay," and I hung up the phone. As I hung up the phone, it was a click, and suddenly I was in this 5D multi-dimensional space where this angel appeared, and I felt this profound tap on my thoracic spine, like pushing me forward. And so I thought, I better do something.
Well, listen, let's go take a break and then come back. We're talking to Mandara Cromwell. We're talking about cymatics and Cyma therapy, and we're talking about our beloved friend, Dr. Peter Guy Manners. More on this with my beloved wife, Andy, here on the Healing Sound Show. So let's go off to commercial. We'll be back in a couple minutes, folks. Stay tuned. It's going to get better.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of sound healing? Read The Humming Effect by Jonathan Goldman and Andy Goldman. Discover how the simplest sounds may be the most profound. Dr. Bruce Lipton has said it is a powerful non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. You can find The Humming Effect at healingsounds.com, amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
Hello, this is Jonathan Goldman. For years now, I've known of a frequency called the Schumann resonance, discovered over a half a century ago and said to be the vibrations of the electromagnetic field of our planet. Recently, I had 2 different sets of tuning forks which utilize the science of binaural beats to create this frequency. One set resonates the brain, and the other set resonates the body. I call them the Gaia Frequency Brain Tuners and Body Tuners. Since they've been created, I've received astounding feedback from not only sound healers, but also medical doctors and lay people who have utilized them for enhanced meditation, transformation, and healing. Try the Gaia Frequency Tuning Forks, either the Brain Tuners or the Body Tuners or both, and allow yourself the opportunity to experience this very special frequency. Available at healingsounds.com or Amazon.
What if there was a universal sound that could resonate our physical body and our chakras? What if this sound can actually change our DNA and bring about a quantum leap in our evolution? What if this sound were a name that had been known by the ancient mystics and then lost for over 2,500 years? What if this name, when collectively sounded, had the ability to change the very fiber of reality, allowing miracles to occur? Now you can discover the power of the lost sound of God through the new book, The Divine Name, by Healing Sounds pioneer Jonathan Goldman. With a foreword by Greg Braden and a free instructional CD, this groundbreaking new book can take us to a new level of evolution. Go to www.thedivinename.com and discover the Divine Name. You're listening to CHSR, Real Radio on the web.
So here we are back. It's March 13, 2019. I'm Jonathan Goldman with my wife, Andy Goldman. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Jonathan.
And we have our fabulous guest, Mandara Cromwell, who, among other things, is the, shall we say, pioneer of Cyma therapy. And Mandara, as you were talking about the metal filings that Hans Jenny did, and the fact that when there were several frequencies together, that you began to have actual dimensionality created, correct?
That's correct. It was
right,
amazing.
and I'd just like to suggest that I think, just from my perspective, I think a lot of people are really looking for the magic frequency. Number one, a solo frequency, and that's it. And from my perspective, it's really composite frequencies that really do the trick, that create the geometry and have the whole power. And I would like to suggest that perhaps I'm wrong, but that the work of Dr. Manners that you're doing with Cyma therapy does work with composite frequencies and not single tones. Would that be correct?
That's absolutely true, Jonathan. When I met Dr. Manners and began studying with him, what was laid out before me was a thick notebook full of frequency patterns that were associated with all parts of the human physiology. There's a special code, so we call them codes today to keep it short. He called them commutations, but we call them codes. So there are approximately 750 of these codes. Hence, my recent most popular device is called the AMI 750. So anyway, those 750 codes that there's a special code for the thyroid, a special code for the liver, a special code for the gallbladder, a special code for the adrenals, et cetera, et cetera. Every muscle, tendon, ligament part of the body. Of those 750, each code is comprised of 5 frequencies. So it's like there's a special quintet that's playing to the liver. It's a special quintet that's playing to the adrenals. Now think about this. You would say, well, if I want to support my liver, how do I know this code is for my liver and not your liver? Believe it or not, the human frequencies for each of our organs are very close. So this makes perfect sense if there are 5 frequencies, because my liver may want a little more of this frequency from the quintet, and your liver may want a little more from this other instrument that's part of the quintet. I tell people when I speak to lay audiences, imagine a buffet table, and there are 5 dishes on the buffet table. Intuitively, we know which dishes we like best, right? Or which sound nutrition we are attracted to. So my thyroid might go a little more for this dish, and your thyroid might go a little more for some of the other dishes, but yet at the same time, all of those 5 frequencies generate harmonics and subharmonics that span the whole human race, apparently, because that was
Mandara, what I am really curious about, that I would love our audience to know, is how exactly does the AMI 750, because with all of these codes and the ability of this device that you've invented can affect us on, deep cellular levels, how does it actually work? Could you give us a sort of an overview so people can kind of get, wait a minute, I got to try that.
Right, a gestalt on the...
A gestalt of the 750 AMI, because I love that one.
I'll be happy to. So I've already given you the information on the 750 codes that comprise of 5 frequencies each, and how we deliver this is on a plate that we apply usually through the feet. When I first worked with Dr. Manners, he had a device that would have an applicator, and the first device, the Cyma 1000, I spearheaded a team to create the Cyma 1000, and this was like an applicator, sort of like you've seen ultrasound, therapeutic ultrasound. And therapeutic ultrasound uses looks like a little shower head. Yeah. And so we apply that to the specific areas of the body. And this device worked really well. However, we become lazy, and we don't want to hold the applicator there at a particular body part. We get tired. And so one day I was thinking, how can I make this device more user-friendly? Well, my background is in Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, and I know about the effectiveness of the meridians. If you ever study reflexology, the bottom of the feet, many reflexologists will say that you can take a clove of garlic, rub it on the bottom of your foot, and within 20 minutes you will taste garlic in your mouth. The same way with peppermint oil, those types of things. Dr. Joey Jones from the University of California in radiology at Irvine, he actually proved the efficacy of the meridian system. And, I'm happy to talk about that if you'd like. But here we have this 5,000-year-old system of the meridian pathways. And this is the system that I received an intuitive hit one day, like, oh my gosh, I already know about this. Let me create a plate where people could comfortably sit in a chair, place their feet on this plate, and have the sound travel the meridian pathways. And in addition to the sound, we know through ultrasound that gel, water-based gel, is a wonderful conductor of the sound. So part of that patent is that the sound uses gel to have it come into the body at a faster rate. And through thermal imaging, MRI, ultrasound, we have proved the efficacy of the body uptaking the sound and having amazing experiences of regeneration.
Cool. So we have that was beautiful, and boy, there's so much more that we can speak on. With regard to this, but really, I do want to acknowledge that back in 1982, Dr. Randall McClellan, in his book *The Healing Forces of Music*, said that he saw in the future that sound would be projected through water into the body. And you're doing something very similar with the AMI 750, and I know that Dr. Manners in England had literally a swimming pool that projected different somatic frequencies through there. So this idea of putting the sound through the water into our body is brilliant. All right, we're going to be taking a break in about a minute, and then, Mandara, among other things, we have so many things to talk about, but we definitely want to talk about your new fabulous book, Sound Flower, The Journey to Marry Science and Spirit. But first, we're going to say that if you're interested in this, go to Cyma Technologies. I'm going to spell it CYMATECH. That's Cyma Technologies, NOLOGIES.com. So CymaTechnologies.com for this fabulous website. So we're going to take a break now, and we'll be back with myself, Jonathan Goldman, my wife, Andy Goldman, and our fabulous guest, Mandara Cromwell.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of connecting with the energy of the earth? Would you like to be able to tune your mind and your body to this extraordinary healing frequency? Try the Gaia Frequency Tuning Forks, available at healingsounds.com and at Amazon. Exclusively designed by me, Jonathan Goldman, these tuning forks might just change your life.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of sound healing? Read The Humming Effect by Jonathan Goldman and Andy Goldman. Discover how the simplest sounds may be the most profound. Dr. Bruce Lipton has said it is a powerful non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. You can find The Humming Effect at healingsounds.com, amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
Hello, this is Jonathan Goldman.
And Andy Goldman.
Sound can be an extraordinary vehicle for healing and transformation. It can affect your body, your mind, and your spirit.
We'd like to invite you to visit our website, healingsounds.com, and discover some of the amazing things that sound can do. You'll find articles and interviews, a special store for sonic healing tools, award-winning CDs, books, tuning forks, and much more.
You can find out about the discovery of the divine name, what we call a hotline to the divine. Explore ways of studying and learning about sound healing, and even download a free recording called the 7-Minute Chakra Tune-Up.
There's much to explore in the world of sound healing, and discover ways that you can live a healthier and happier life.
Once again, we'd like to invite you to come visit our website, healingsounds.com, and experience the difference.
Thank you.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net. Millions of listeners know the secret. Now you do too. Positive talk 24 hours a day, every day.
Back we are, March 13th, 2019. Jonathan Goldman here.
Andy Goldman, co-hosting.
And with Mandara Cromwell. Mandara, among other things, is the, shall we say, the creator of Cyma therapy, and particularly this is using an instrument called the AMI 750, which is being used in health practices with medical doctors, regular doctors throughout the country. And the question is...
And Jonathan, I want to just jump in because I want to ask you, Mandara, as myself as a therapist, I would love for our audience to know what a session is like. You know, what could they expect?
A regular session with the AMI 750 is a 30-minute session. When I studied with Dr. Manners, the average session that he provided for his patients was less than 30 minutes. And so sound, as we have been talking, is extremely powerful. So 30-minute sessions, very easy. People can either sit on a chair and place their feet on the device or lay on a sofa or massage table and prop their feet on and have a relaxing session. It really sort of depends on the therapist. We also sell to private owners, and for private owners we have a team of advanced sound therapists where the private owner can call in for free consultations to be guided on the different protocols that they can use for their specific journey to health. But for the normal studies that we have, and you can go to the website, cymatechnologies.com, to see on a physical level how fast this can really have a profound effect. You can click on our research tab and see, particularly with our equine studies on a physical level, it helped to relieve pain and regenerate tissue of something that's similar to a torn Achilles tendon in a human. Now, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we don't make any medical claims. We are a Class 1 device recognized by the FDA to relieve stress and pain. So if we think about it, all of these conditions, because we have so many people who are dealing with very significant challenges, and they are all related to stress. And this is what our medical journals tell us, that the underlying cause of all disease is stress. Yeah. And so if you think about it, what is cancer? What is any condition? It's a whole bunch of cells that have gotten way stressed out. And we also help people, not only on a physical level. We've got a lot of data that help people with their emotional stress, because when we're emotionally stressed and physically stressed, we're cranky and we're irritable. We make poor choices in food. We have trouble relating. We definitely have trouble with sleep and anxiety. And we are a society ridden with these, responses, these stressors. And so the AMI 750 is phenomenal at relieving these stresses very quickly.
I'm going to just jump in and say that both Andy and I are sort of devotees of the AMI 750. Yes. We use it regularly for various things that come up, because by gosh and by golly, in this day and age, we do indeed get stressed and problematic. But let's talk for a moment about your fabulous book, Sound Flower.
The Journey to Marry Science and Spirit. And I just want to say, Mandara, that I have loved your book, and I find it absolutely fascinating. And for people to really get the depth and breadth of this work that you're doing, I highly recommend it.
So tell us, what caused you to write this book? What was your purpose behind it?
You know, a couple of reasons to write the book. First of all, when people keep asking you for over 10 years, how did you do this? What's going on? You know, well, how did you find this out? What made you do this? You go, gosh, I guess I just need to write this down so everybody gets the right story. It's part memoir, you know, my journey, and through that experience that I share, my hope is that people will be inspired to look at their own lives, because I share the messages that I have received all throughout my life. Some of this information is pointing to a small child who was given the okay by particularly my grandmother, for it to be okay to have intuitive experiences. And many of my friends have told me through their life that was shut down at an early age, that their parents and people around them said, you know, pulled them out of the intuitive and more into the left brain capacity of our daily life. So I'm hoping that people will be able to look back through their own lives and connect the dots, because the song that we are to sing comes locked within our heart. And what we need to do through this life, I believe, is that we need to find that key to unlock our true song. And in my case, it's sound. And I have found sound to be my magic carpet to handle daily life, daily stress, and what I feel is fulfilling my mission. The second part of my desire to write the book is to point to some research that I have done proving the efficacy of sound, and that people will look at sound as a first choice when they find themselves in a physical or emotional turmoil, that rather than, you know, going to drugs and surgery, maybe they could use the power of sound. We find our situation here in this day and age where there is a lot of depression, there's an opioid epidemic, and this is leading to, we hate to look at this, but the fact is even college students are creating suicide or committing suicide. So how do we help these people? So that's the other part of my book. It's bringing awareness, and then it does have a self-help part of it where you can use the visual that's in the book. I'm a big believer in the science of cymatics and making sound visible, and how they can use that visual of a very specific healing code emitted by the AMI 750 to help bring back a type of balance. And thanks. I'm so glad you enjoyed the book, Andy.
Oh, I find it so inspiring for all the reasons that you just mentioned, and I think it's so wonderful that you have these gorgeous pictures of the cymatic pictures so that people can actually see the validation of what these images are that sound is able to do, i.e. through our bodies, our minds, and our spirits.
Totally. And really, on a level, I'd like to suggest also something that hasn't been said, but one of the things that I think your instrument does is to really reinforce the, shall we say, energy of different organs and different systems of the body. Would that be correct, as opposed to like trying to treat an illness? It brings health to things that may be out of balance, and by doing that, we then are able to basically release any imbalances that occur. Does this feel correct and make sense?
Absolutely, Jonathan. We have people who use the device as a preventative because, you know, we want to be able to finish our work here while we're on this mission. And, you know, if we get, for some reason, caught in one of those stress snags, then we need a little help to get back up to our optimum vibratory rate. And people ask me, do you use your own device? And the answer is yes, and practically every day, because like, everyone else, I'm exposed to stress, and it's a great way to stay tuned up.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're going to be taking a break in a minute, and then coming back with Mandara Cromwell, who's talking about this, and I'm just going to do something I never do, but the AMI 750 is perhaps my favorite sonic instrument. And folks, it's not music, it's sound. There's a difference, but healing sounds can be really extraordinarily powerful, although they may not be Mozart. Okay, you're with me, Jonathan Goldman, and my wife, Andy Goldman. Our guest is Mandara Cromwell. Want to reach her, go to Cyma, C-Y-M-A, technologies.com. So it's CymaTechnologies.com. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, speak to you soon.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of sound healing? Read The Humming Effect by Jonathan Goldman and Andy Goldman. Discover how the simplest sounds may be the most profound. Dr. Bruce Lipton has said, it is a powerful non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. You can find The Humming Effect at healingsounds.com, Amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
Hello, this is Jonathan Goldman. For years now, I've known of a frequency called the Schumann resonance, discovered over a half a century ago and said to be the vibrations of the electromagnetic field of our planet. Recently, I had 2 different sets of tuning forks which utilize the science of binaural beats to create this frequency. One set resonates the brain, and the other set resonates the body. I call them the Gaia Frequency Brain Tuners and Body Tuners. Since they've been created, I've received astounding feedback from not only sound healers, but also medical doctors and lay people who have utilized them for enhanced meditation, transformation, and healing. Try the Gaia Frequency Tuning Forks, either the Brain Tuners or the Body Tuners or both, and allow yourself the opportunity to experience this very special frequency. Available at healingsounds.com or Amazon.
The divine name is a universal sound that, when intoned, has the ability to bring harmony and healing to ourselves and the planet. Discover the power of this lost sound through the new book, The Divine Name, by Healing Sounds pioneer Jonathan Goldman. With a foreword by Greg Braden and a free instructional CD, this groundbreaking book can take us to a new level of evolution. Go to www.thedivinename.com and discover the divine name.
Music, information, and friends. HealthyLife.net.
Back we are on March 13th, 2019 with myself.
And myself, Andy Goldman.
And Mandara Cromwell, who is, among other things, the major permeator of Cyma therapy, which is the use of a specific sound technology to help put us in balance, and it's so important. And Mandara, it's so good having you on this show to be able to try to highlight your work. But you've just written this wonderful book, and how can people get the book?
They can go to the website, Cyma, it's C-Y-M-A. The C is with is like cat. C-Y-M-A, technologies.com. It's so interesting because, the Greek word is Cyma with a K,
right.
K-Y-M-A. And in German, Dr. Jenny's book, Chematics. And then when we translate it over into English, it becomes a C, as in cat, or fiber.
Indeed. So what are you up to now besides what you're doing? Well, what's happening now and in the future for you?
I am fascinated with research, and I continually research how the sounds that were passed on to me by Dr. Manners, testing, researching their effectiveness and how to layer them for people to get the fastest results. I just would love to be able to help more and more people understand the healing power of sound, how powerful sound really is, and how they can, be the captain of their sound ship or their own magic carpet to maintain an optimum state of health, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I have already proven, for the most part, on a physical level, how Cyma therapy, AMI 750, can affect, in a very profound way, the human physiology. The next thing that I am investigating, because of my background in the Vedic sciences, we have the study of coherence of the five bodies. So in the Chinese and Ayurveda philosophies, they believe that dis-ease actually comes in from, the more subtle regions of our existence. So I wonder if it is possible to be able to see, because we have a lot of modern technology today that is showing the energy fields. And in my book, I talk about a research project that I did with the biofield viewer, and a particular client who came in was a mechanic and had knee surgery a couple years ago and still was having pain in his knees and wanted to find out, what was happening. So we watched in this technology his energy around him. So it's a special camera, special lighting, et cetera, where you can see this. And this is developed in the UK, this particular system. But anyway, we were watching this guy. We're going, wonder what's really going on with him, that he's still having this pain in his knees. And come to find out, his mother had recently passed of pancreatic cancer. He had had a very tumultuous, abusive type relationship with his mother. And you could see with this particular technology the congestion around his heart area. You could definitely see the pain that he was said he was having in his knees. And Jonathan and Andy, I cannot tell you the amazement on not only the technician's face, but also my assistant and myself were standing there watching the energy move around him with the power of sound. And at the end of the 30-minute session, he opened his eyes, and you could just see he was a changed person. He had a smile on his face. He said, gosh, can I come back and do this again tomorrow? So the power of sound is so amazing, and that is my mission. How can we use sound? Of course, my technology is easier to research than, say, the singing bowl or the voice, which I'm a big proponent of, or tuning forks. Those are variables in research, but if you can track it with something like the AMI 750, I feel like the efficacy of other types of sound modalities that we use therapeutically are not far behind. And so I'm about research. I have a project that I'm doing with the University of Florida, and we're using the AMI 750 and its visuals to help students with stress.
Beautiful.
So,
listen, we have about 1 minute left, and I have one question that I always ask every person, which is this. Talk about, for 1 minute, the power of sound and consciousness to heal. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. The power of sound. We have no idea how powerful it is, and that's why I call sound the magic carpet. What I have found in my experience is that sound can uplift a person and allow them to kind of look down like they're flying above all of those traumatic stress events that they've experienced, it creates a little distance. They can have a larger view of it, and they will be able to move on. And I will share this one last little bit about our veterans program. We get together with veterans and help them. And there's a Vietnam vet that came in, and he said, I feel after 30 minutes of being on my AMI 750 like I did before I went to war.
Wow.
Amazing.
So this is the power of sound. If we can help our planet heal, that will be wonderful.
Well, nice. We are basically going to have to conclude this program. Do actually come back, because there's so much we have not talked about. But we are dealing with basically a really extraordinary instrument for using, and not musical, but sonic instrument for healing, the AMI 750, and its creator, Mandara Cromwell of CymaTechnologies.com. I am Jonathan Goldman.
And I am Andy Goldman.
We thank you, Mandara, for being with us. And everyone, I'll be back in a moment to tell you about who's coming up next month with Mandara. Thank you so much.
Mandara, thank you. It has been a joy to have you on the show. I have really loved it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to next time.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of connecting with the energy of the earth? Would you like to be able to tune your mind and your body to this extraordinary healing frequency? Try the Gaia Frequency Tuning Forks, available at healingsounds.com and at Amazon. Exclusively designed by me, Jonathan Goldman. These tuning forks might just change your life.
Do you want to experience the powerful benefits of sound healing? Read The Humming Effect by Jonathan Goldman and Andy Goldman. Discover how the simplest sounds may be the most profound. Dr. Bruce Lipton has said, it is a powerful non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. You can find The Humming Effect at healingsounds.com, amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
HealthyLife.net, the Positive Radio Network.
Welcome back, my friends, to the conclusion of the Healing Sound Show today. But please, we have, incidentally, Mandara Cromwell was great, wasn't she? And Andy, thank you for being my co-host. And next month, well, maybe you'll co-host again, because we got Dr. June Leslie Widener, who's a chiropractor, has written, a wonderful new book on sound therapy. So tune in then for Dr. June, and in the interim, keep sound, light, and love in your life. Bye-bye now.